Buddy, this is the CT Sports Talent Show. My name is Christopher Saunders, and I'm pleased to have on Paul Gorry, who's the quarterback for the Sheehan Titans. He is a senior, and he's entering his final season with the Sheehan Football program. Paul, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's awesome to be able to kind of preview these. Now, I've had a couple coaches on. I think you're one of the first players I've had on as far as during the summer is concerned, because now you've got 7-on-7, you've got passing leagues, you've got everything going on. The season's going to come up quick. I mean, it's already July 4th, tomorrow. I mean, the first game, September 7th, September 8th. I mean, I was talking to Coach Salvati from North Branford yesterday as far as if he's chomping at the bit and he can't wait. So I can only imagine what it is for a player. I'm sure you're eager to have the season start.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be a fun year, last year, last ride, can't wait. I would say we got a good team and good bond this year too. So I'm excited for the season, that's for sure.
I want to go back a little bit to last year. I know last year was a tough season in terms of kind of the wins and losses. And I was looking back at some of your games, that the Sheehan Titans were able to play. And you guys had a tough schedule. I mean, you had in
Yeah.
the course of a 3-week span, you had New Fairfield, which I saw them because I was broadcasting that game against Holy Cross. And that was a slugfest all the way until the end. They had a whole lot of talent, New Fairfield did. You played Amity as well, I think, week 3. But just over the course of that season, with the amount of tough teams that you played, just kind of if you can, just talk about just that season if you're able to.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough schedule, but we always play hard teams and we just rise up to the challenge. We don't use it as an excuse. Our Coach Frazzi, he's done, nothing but a great job. You know, I I mean, every year, he comes in with the attitude of like, don't matter who we have in our schedule, we're gonna work our ass off and, just do the best we could to compete with those teams. And, he does a great job and he always prepares us every week by week. And, you know, it was definitely a tough year. But I think, with the bigger schools, we still competed and
Mm.
definitely give them a run for their money.
If I know one thing about Coach Perazzi, and I've known him now for a couple of years, is that he always has the team prepared and ready, and he finds ways to be able to motivate the players every single week. And you could help me as far as with the players that are coming back, how many are returning on offense and defense. But how important is that to be able to have players coming back that already have a familiarity with the speed of the varsity game?
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to have because like last year, especially, it was kind of like a younger team. So those guys obviously had time to develop now.
Mhm.
Now having varsity time, they kind of know what to do, the expectation, how big guys can be,
Mhm.
and just a lot of like just everything about the game. So now it's hopefully, with a year behind them,
Mhm.
it will be a lot, more easier for them to identify things and it's good to have a lot of people coming back because, you worked with each other a lot and, the same guys. So it's pretty good to have that.
Now you throw right-handed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so most importantly, do you have your left tackle back?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, now the reason why I say that is because he is your protector, he's your blind side.
Yeah.
And you talk about the youth, the offensive line, and I'm sure you would probably agree with this, never gets any love, right? The only thing that people talk about is how many sacks did they give up, and maybe every once in a while a pancake is thrown in there. Not the actual food, but you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the offensive line. Is it coming back, as far as returners? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, this year is definitely I'm really excited about the line. They're big, they're physical, they're great people. I love them. Every Friday I get them breakfast because how much they mean to me.
Mm.
I think we got pretty much everyone back in the line this year, which is good because now they got experience. Everyone's pretty big. I think the lightest person's around like 280, so that's definitely a good thing to have. Um, but yeah, the line is definitely the thing I love the most, and I give them my respect every day, and couldn't I wouldn't be here without them. So
Talk to me about kind of and I've not been able to watch any film, so I apologize as far as the way you play the game. But I know, again, broadcasting from the NVL, I don't see a lot of athletic quarterbacks. I've seen a couple that, and I shouldn't say athletic. What I'm trying to say is I don't see a lot of quarterbacks who can produce the way, because I see a lot of kids that can run and do this and that. But at the end of the day, if they're throwing duck farts or they're not able to throw a ball, you know, close enough for the receivers to be able to catch, it makes it difficult. So are you the kind of quarterback, are you a pocket passer? Are you able to kind of do like a Kyler Murray hybrid? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm a pocket passer, and if I need to like move around, I'll move around and make the throws. But I definitely feel like I'm at my best in the pocket, and I wouldn't say I'm like more of like the person who's gonna run and all the time. But if I need to do it, obviously I'll tuck it and go. But I'm more of like I'll stay in the pocket and just do what I need to do from there.
Is that something that, and I was going to ask as far as what you've been working on this, this summer, but as far as maybe adding that to your toolbox, right? Being able to maybe roll out every once in a while, give your offensive line a little bit of a breather, and also to give your wide receiver some time to break away from the corners, the safeties. Is that something that you've thought about adding at all?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've worked with, a speed coach I have, which, just to get my speed up so I could like get out of the pocket.
Mhm.
And I've been working, just every week, just, throws on the runs just to make sure that, if I need to, I can make those throws. Just if I need to escape from the pocket. But obviously I'll do whatever I need to do to improve my game because I'm only looking to get better. And, that's it.
What was the one thing that you felt like you did not do that well last year that you want to make sure you don't do this year?
I would say the big thing is just, my throw when I throw on the run to the left, that's definitely a little bit more of a weaker thing for me. So, that's something I need to rep a lot. Because, I've kind of missed some wide open receivers a couple times because, I just didn't get my shoulders around. So that's definitely something I need to work on because, at the end of the day, if I could throw at any side of the field running any way, that would help the team out the most. And, I'm just gonna obviously do what I can do to help the team. And you know, I'll approve from, anything I, did in the past that wasn't great. And, that's all I'm looking for.
You talk about being able to square your shoulders and being able to rotate throwing to that opposite side. Typically for quarterbacks, I'm sure as you know, left-handed quarterbacks, it's hard to throw to that right side if you're kind of rolling to the left, vice versa for right-handed quarterbacks.
Mhm.
What have you been able to do to try to make sure that what you did last year, as you mentioned, does not happen? What have you been doing?
I think just over exaggerating, having my shoulder like pull through and pushing my hand to my opposite shoulder, just because, when I didn't do that, my like shoulder would flare to the left and then my arm would come up and the ball would miss a little high. That was also kind of like an issue with my form, like my sophomore year, and then I fixed that up a little bit last year. And then this year, honestly, I would say so far, I've, I would say my form's been a lot better. So, just fixing the form out every day I could possibly do it is kind of what's going to help it out, and that obviously can make the ball go harder, farther, and more accurate.
With the amount of years that you've been at the varsity level, right? This will be your third year. I mean, you know, I've always believed the more you play, especially at the highest level, you kind of pick up on things. I mean, I'm a baseball junkie, and I mean, the amount of vets that I've talked to who played the game for many, many years, from the minor leagues to the major leagues, have always told me, they could be on second base for three pitches and they could pick up exactly what's being called when, and they can tip that off to the batter. For you specifically, and I know corners and safeties and DNs and all that, D linemen, they rotate because high school they graduate and whatnot. So there's new kids. But are you able to pick up on maybe little tendencies, little things that kind of maybe they're giving away that they don't know, but you know because you've seen it so many times?
Yeah, for sure. I would say as a quarterback, those type of things you need to pick up because, just like even something like hip angles, because that could be the difference between a second if the ball's going to be there on time or not. Because, just having that experience, you're able to tell, like, all right, well, if he's facing this way, I know for a fact I have this because he's going that way and this is going the opposite way. So I think having the experience over the past a couple of years, being the starter definitely helps because I can always predetermine of like, all right, this guy is lined up like this. Most likely, I'm going to be able to get this guy. Obviously, got to go through the read. But experience is very helpful, especially in this position, and I definitely utilize it a lot.
Now, with that being said, are you allowed to be able to audible, kind of change the play if you're able to?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to say I'm there yet, but you know, eh, maybe one day.
So basically, whatever Farazi or the OC is calling, that's what's going to happen right there. That play.
Yeah, but they definitely will, listen to what I have to say because
Hmm.
it's always good to feed off each other because maybe it will work and
Hmm.
get their opinion on the play as well. So yeah,
Kind of share with me if you can what's been going on in the passing league. I know I remember talking with Coach Salvati from North Branford yesterday. OTAs are August 10th to August 12th. I mean, they're coming by quick, less than a month, give or take.
yeah.
What's it been like? And again, I know passing league, there's limitations. You can't do it's obviously not tackle football, but still you're out there, working with your receivers, your tight ends, the running backs, yada yada yada. How's it been like as far as being able to work with your teammates as now we're getting close to the OTAs?
Yeah, it's definitely been good. I think I get the most work out of like, things that we do like in the morning with the whole conditioning that will prepare us for the season. And then, going down to the field with, my guys separately is definitely helpful. Because obviously OTAs it's definitely gonna come a lot sooner than we think it's gonna come. So it's definitely something you just gotta make sure we're in good shape for it, and we just kind of know our plays and stuff because once that hits, then preseason starts, and then we'll just roll into the season. So it's definitely utilize every opportunity we can get now. So then when those come up, we'll be all set and ready to go.
What has the energy been like, either in lifting, the passing league, or maybe just kind of if you're just going out with some of your buddies on the team to be able to just get some extra work in, coming off of, as we talked about the season last year? I mean, I'm sure they haven't forgotten about it. I'm sure you guys still talk about it. Is that something that's kind of helping kind of keep that fire burning as we get into now the dog days of the summer?
Yeah, I mean, the energy, we always have the standard to keep it, always high, no matter what. If you're tired, or
Mhm.
not feeling good that day, you always got to come in with an attitude to bring the energy up because that's obviously first and foremost. If you have good energy, it's going to be a good day. So far, with this whole summer conditioning, it's been great. Everything's been high. Everyone's getting each other's backs. It's a bond. Everyone's having fun, and obviously the goal is just to make sure we keep it into the going to the season. And but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely you know happy with what it's at right now. And we have like our motto right now this year as one, and we're living by that. Just because we just got to be one team this year. Because if we're one team, we're gonna make it far and do good things because we have each other's back. So everything is going in the right direction as of right now. So just got to keep it up.
How crucial, or maybe in the case of, because again, to go back to baseball, you're only good as your next day's starting pitcher, right? But I know with the football season, again, the way you guys started, or maybe midway point, it was a struggle. But you finished strong. You beat Daniel Hand. You beat I think it was Lyman Hall, correct? The last game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be able to win, those two games and finish the season on a two-game win streak, had to be able to kind of at least for the seniors finish strong, say, hey, we at least did this, right? We didn't finish below 500. You were 3-5 going into those games. You finished 5-5. How important was that to finish strong at the end of the season against those two teams?
No, it was very important because that would carry into this year with the momentum saying like, listen, even though last year might not have been the best year, we still finished beating tier one school, Hand, which was a very good school in the past years. Obviously in my sophomore year they got us, they beat us pretty good, but we wanted revenge coming back at their place, and it was a great night. That was a great game, and I think that was probably one of the best moments so far, of starting here. And then obviously, being Lyman Hall, keeping that tradition of winning the Carini Bowl 10th straight year in a row was obviously very important for us. And just finishing the year on a high note at the end of the day is always it's going to help us carry it into the next year, and then just carry the momentum, because right now we're on a 2-game winning streak, and the goal is to keep that up and hope for a better year.
Is that something that you've talked about with your teammates where even when the season starts, like even though everybody is 0-0, technically you guys are 2-0 because you're carrying over the 2 wins from the previous season. Have you talked about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, not really, because we kind of like just want to mainly focus on, this year and our agenda this year. We kind of don't really want to focus on last year, but I think those 2 wins kind of, gave us a positive mindset going into the off season. But I would say that, you know, right now we're kind of just laser focused on, this year, and, accomplishing the goals we want to accomplish this year. And that's really it, just kind of focusing on that.
As I look at kind of the six classes, right? S, double S, M, double M, L, double L. And now I have not looked, and I don't know if you would know this. Sheehan is an S or double S. Where are you guys?
Last year we were in double S. I'm thinking we're probably going to be in double S again. But I don't think we'll find out for a little bit, but probably double S.
Well, the reason why I mention that is because obviously in every single class, you lose, especially in L and double L, you lose one game, you're probably a 7 or an 8. You lose two, you're probably out. It's that
Yeah.
competitive.
Yeah.
Well, S and double S, at least again, small sample size, show the kind of competitiveness amongst the top, especially when you look at S. Now, I don't know if you guys are in S, but because there were so many MVL teams, you had we had the Woodlands, Holy Cross, New Fairfield, so on and so forth. When you look at that, and I'm just asking you specifically because you've been around the last couple of years now, even prior to these six divisions. Um, when you look at the schedule, right? How difficult is it to not kind of portray and be like, we can't lose to this team, this team, this team because it could potentially drop us out or bring us down? Does that make sense at all? What I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, we it's definitely like if you lose a couple of games, you're putting yourself up in jeopardy. But I mean, like my sophomore year, we went 7-3, and we got ninth place, so we were just out of it, which was, that was tough, because being one off is, kind of unfortunate. Because earlier in that year, we lost versus New Fairfield 14-13, and they made the playoffs. I think at like the higher seed, like 5, 4 seeds, something like that. They were 8-2, so it's just things can be obviously close and unfortunate. But the bottom of the line is to get to that moment, you just got to focus week by week and take every team serious. And, if you do that, then most likely you'll, accomplish the goals you want to accomplish.
Mhm. No, I think that's a solid answer. And, I can only imagine, again, from the broadcasting standpoint, when I'm calling the games, I could feel the pressure, midway through the season. If I see a couple teams with 2, 3 losses, and I'm like, it's going to be tough to get in unless you have a miracle where teams just are maybe off, right? And it's an odd year, and I can only
Yeah.
imagine how the players feel as far as if you lose a couple games early, but then you finish strong late. But it's like you look back and it's like we lost a couple we shouldn't have. And now those were basically the reasons why we're not in the CIC state tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So before I let you go, and I appreciate you coming on, Paul, how crucial is it to start out? And it's always crucial to start out strong. But for, I think, this team in particular, with who is coming back, with you being a senior and also being one of the leaders and the starting quarterback, to not replicate last year, obviously record wise, but also how you guys started. How important, I mean, are you taking that with probably more pride, I guess, than maybe your average Joe? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Obviously last year, I had a home opener, not winning that was definitely tough, because, all summer we were like, oh, let's, get our revenge on New Fairfield. Let's have a good game. Let's make a statement. And then obviously things didn't go our way. So, really just our goal this year is just to make sure that, we focus, week by week on each team, don't overlook any teams, and just play our football each week, because we have, plenty of talent, and up front on the line, out on the wideouts, everywhere we have tons of talent. And, the bottom line is we just got to focus week by week, take every team serious, and, just limit the mistakes. And I think, if we do that and we focus on that the most, then, we'll be perfectly fine. And I think we'll be happy, coming back week 1.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Best of luck your senior year, and hopefully you guys can accomplish the goals that you guys have set out for probably a while now, and all the hard work that you're putting in currently. But best of luck this season.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem, anytime. That wrap things up in the CT Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm your journey, find them all. Do the what you did, everybody, and be well.